Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, July 21st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will also be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol GFAI. Big mover today, and you look down here at the volume and just a huge surge in volume on the day. So a lot of eyeballs you got to think will be watching this one here headed into Friday. So let's map out some of the key levels of resistance and support. And in my mind, a good solid little general pattern has formed. And I like general patterns because it's always safe to assume a lot of people are watching them. And when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So top part of this pattern up here at resistance, $7.85. And then bottom part of this pattern, have this area right here. Let me change that to green to represent more so the pattern or the support part of the pattern. And then maybe make this easier to see. Let's just keep it all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge move up right there, and this would be a bull flag pattern. Now, again, nothing is guaranteed, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price curls its way back upwards here and breaks up through the top part of that pattern, that break in and of itself could cause additional buying pressure and additional momentum? That is certainly a valid thought process to have. So if you like stocks down below $10, you like bull flag patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol SIRI, and not a whole lot going on in the earlier parts of the day, as you can see here. But then all of a sudden this afternoon, I'm assuming some sort of news came out, but the volume just came pouring in, and the price reacted very, very nicely with that volume surge. So you got to think that a lot of eyeballs will be watching it. And that's what a watch list is all about, finding unique, finding interesting situations, not randomly rushing out and buying stuff, but watching it and seeing, if something further takes place. And in my opinion, at least, I would consider this a very interesting situation where you had the, like I said, random kind of surge of volume, and then you had the price action reacting very nicely with it. So let's map out a couple of key levels. First key level of resistance moving forward, going to be right up here at $7.40. Change that to red for resistance. At the same time, you have this area of support that seems to have formed right there. So let me get that trend line in place. Again, change it to green for support. And then not quite a bull flag pattern, but close. Resistance, support, nice surge there. For you golfers out here, I'll put the golf hole down there. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, some may say, bull flag, bull pennant doesn't really matter. And you could probably make an argument that it doesn't necessarily matter. But for you purists out there that prefer, the exact type of pattern it is, I would definitely call this one a bull pennant relative to a bull flag. But same general idea. If you like stocks down below $10, you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one, NKLA, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have been watching past videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that red line right there as resistance at $2 and right around 75 cents, and it once again showed up today as a problem. As I talked about previously, this thing's just got a massive track record of whenever the price gets around that area, the momentum just seems to disappear, and that's what happened here. So it was encouraging that the price was actually able to push up above it a little bit. However, when it came to sustaining and maintaining the momentum, that completely failed as the price dropped right back below that area. So long story short, $2.75 remains the very, very annoying, very stubborn level of resistance on this one for the time being. As far as areas of support are concerned, price did come down here and tested that purple line there, which I've talked about in past videos, 50-period moving average. But to give full credit where credit's due, you can see here price did a good job of finding support at that level. And then right now, as I speak, last 30 minutes here, looking like a good little green candle is, in shape of potentially forming there. So like I said, big picture-wise, everything is still perfectly fine. But there's no doubt about it, in more the near term, that level of resistance at 275 grows more and more annoying with each passing day. Next one, PSQH, and you've heard me talk about this pattern already, but we have yet another one of them, which you got to think a lot of people will be watching, so some potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So, this thing was just a crazy, crazy mover today. So let's get our level of resistance in place, and that key level right up there at $32.50. And then on the flip side of things, as far as areas of support are concerned, we'll get that trend line in place like that. Again, change that to green to represent the support, and then maybe you can see where I'm headed with this, but keep it one color. So we have our, oops, that's not what I meant to grab. We have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big upwards move like that. We have our golf hole down here, and we have ourselves another nice bull pennant pattern. The difference here is maybe you prefer stocks up over $10 or what have you, and this is definitely a stock that would prefer that criteria. But I mean, keep in mind, this thing was just under $10, and now this thing is up in the 20s and 30s. So this is a very volatile stock, so if you like those sort of scenarios, you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one, AMC, and as I've talked about in past videos, so again, this comment will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but it's been all about that 425 mark, that green line here, and multiple times today, the price has hovered right around that area, but the bears have never really been able to establish any sort of momentum. Whenever the price gets down there, the bulls really dig in, and they just don't let any sort of further separation to the downside happen, and from a bullish side of things, that's what you want to see continue to happen moving forward. You don't want to see anything where the price comes down here, breaks, and then keeps going, and then keeps going, and keeps going, because the further the price drops below 425 and stays below 425, the bigger sign that the bears are fully back in control. Now, I would agree that the bears seem to be gaining control, but to flat out just say, oh, yeah, the bears are back in full control, I would disagree with that because, again, the price has done a good job of staying above 425. If there is any sort of attempted bounce in the upwards direction, keep a close eye up here. Nothing new here for those of you past watchers, up there at $4.40. But even in more so the near term, before you put too much focus on 440, I'd keep a close eye on those moving averages right there. Purple line being the 50-period moving average, and that pink line being the 200-period moving averages as the nearer general areas of resistance. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. Or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. Now, one special note, this is a genuine live event. So a couple scenarios. It's summertime. Maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening. I have 5 kids, so I understand life can get busy. So maybe, like I said, you already have something on your schedule, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you just completely missed the event. Go ahead, send me an email there to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay so that you can watch it in its entirety. Now, if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up. But like I said, if you can't make it live, go ahead and drop me an email. Next one here, GRRR, and started off the day very, very nicely. Had a big old gap up where the price had closed here on Wednesday and then opened up there this morning. But then after that, you can see that opening 30 minutes, a nasty candle, just straight down it went. Now, is the entire chart destroyed? I'm not going to say that, but what I will say is that there is certainly what I would consider a muscle level here moving forward, and that is at $2.40. And why is that level so important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down to 240 and then just continue on down, what would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back inside of this range where it was before the nice move happened. In other words, that would imply that the price made a great move up and then went right back to where it started. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but that's not the sign of true, genuine power, where the price goes up and then goes right back to where it was. With that being said, let's say the price comes down here and does manage to hold and then curl back up. Now what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows here. You'd have these lows down here, and if you envision each one of those as stair-steps, well, now you'd have stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction, and that's the name of the game. That's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's going to make progress. No price can go straight up. You want to see signs of progress, and that's what that 240 mark is representing, the quote-unquote sign of progress. Next one here, AMD, and a very rough day today, not necessarily because it was such a red day, but from a technical point of view, price came down here, that pink line there, which is the very well-known 200-period moving average, which last time did a fantastic job of providing support, but you can see that did not happen this time around. Opening 30 minutes, price came down here, broke below it, and then after breaking below it, you can see that was essentially what opened up the floodgates, and down the price went. So, very narrow picture, rough day today, and moving forward, if there is any sort of attempted, continuation of this last little bounce here, you can see a nice little candle here, final 30 minutes. But if this bounce continues, that'll be the first main area of resistance up there at $114. So like I said, yes, today, very, very rough day. But looking at things from the bigger picture point of view, you can still see that overall this, could very well just be a prolonged pullback here, because it's not like there's been any major violations. What would a major violation be? Good question. That would be if the price breaks down below that 107 mark and then just continues to bleed down through it. At that point, you'd have to start to really question whether or not the bulls are losing their control on things. But as of right now, I would still say that from a broad point of view, bulls are in full control. Next one here, TSLA, and I put this one where I did because I want to just save you time and respect your time, and not be a broken record. So it's going to sound very familiar, but you get the idea. Rough day today, not because it was so red, but because the price came down here and broke down below that 200 period moving average. You can see a classic example there of a support now acting as resistance. Price bounced back up and right there got rejected by it. So again, if there is any sort of bigger type of bounce in the upwards direction, newest area of resistance going to be right. That's not what I meant to grab. Newest area of resistance going to be right there. That 200 period moving average currently valued at the 275 mark. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, we'll go down here and there we go. Next key area of support. So again, big picture wise, everything's still perfectly fine. Like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but the next critical level I would call down there right around that 253 mark. But even if 253 were to fail, it's got even more wiggle room than what AMD has, because Tesla, as you know, has been just an absolute beast. But 253 would be that next key level that I'd keep a close eye on. So yes, today individually, very bad day. But looking at things from the bigger picture point of view, the trend is still in the upwards direction. Next, RIVN, and I think this one has, if I squeeze things down, you'll get a much better overall idea of it, because it's one of those situations where I think right here does a good job of really illustrating kind of where these problem points up at 2650 are coming from. So let me change this to red to represent resistance, but you can see just, in fact, let me just do this too. And we're going to do definitely more of a bigger picture type pattern here. We're factoring in multiple days as opposed to just a couple of days. But overall, I'm not going to map it all out, but you get the idea. You can see that the price has just essentially been fluctuating back and forth in this broader range right here. Top of the range up here at 2650. Then the bottom part of the support I would call, right around that $24 mark. So really, from a broader standpoint, it's just a big old question mark of who is ultimately going to win out. Who's going to win this battle? Are the bulls going to win out with a break to the upside, or are the bears going to win with a break to the downside? That's the battle that remains to be seen. If you push me into a corner, just based on the trend, you got to go with the trend. That doesn't guarantee anything, but if you were said, well, who's got the advantage because it's an uptrend, I would give the bulls the advantage. But again, there are no guarantees. But overall, I think that's a very well-defined pattern that you got to think a lot of other traders are watching. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to fall, this one will also fall. And that's why this one had a very rough day today, as the NASDAQ had a very rough day. And a level here, and once again, let's talk about those self-fulfilling prophecies, because I'm not trying to impress you. This is not a great discovery. You got to think that a lot of people are watching that 200 period moving average, and everybody's wondering, okay, if the price does go down there, do you get some sort of bounce? Does it continue to bleed? So nobody knows what's going to happen at that level. But what a lot of people do know is that they're going to be watching it, and therefore that's, again, where those self-fulfilling prophecies can come into play. So that'll definitely be a level that you got to think a lot of eyeballs will be watching right around that $42.15 mark. If there is some sort of attempted bounce in the upwards direction, first key level to watch from a resistance standpoint, going to be right there at 43.75, and then if the price can break up through there, then the next key level, which you've already heard me talk about a couple of times now, will be that 50 period moving average. But one hurdle at a time. Let's just first see if the price can even break up above this initial level, right here, and then you can put more focus on that level right there, and then you can put more focus on that 50 period moving average. But yeah, no doubt about it today, pretty rough day. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. It'll be this evening on Thursday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so keep in mind the Eastern Time right there. Or like I said earlier, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. I just ask for your patience because, again, it is a genuine live event, so it's first got to happen, and then I got to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send you a link to it. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Tell me what you're trading today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Give me a smiley face. But those two things help out the channel, help out these videos. And as long as you know that you are enjoying as a viewer, I will continue to put in the time and effort to get this content out to you. So go get signed up for that free class or drop me an email. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.